A young man recounts a bitter experience he went through, which he cannot overcome or ignore its events to this day, an experience that literally terrified him to the point that he became terrified of normal life events, but it reminds him of the events of his experience with the world of the jinn and the dead. One day it was dark all over, and as usual I was returning home, but I took a path in one of the streets that was close to my heart since my childhood. This path we took for a whole life with my childhood friends. When we were kids, my favorite game and all of my friends were bike racing, and this particular street was our place and our only haven for that race and enjoy it away from the eyes of parents. We used to call this street Monster Street because it was full of tall trees and often dark without lights, unlike the other streets around it. On the day of the accident, I was determined to discover mysterious things on the street. It was very late, and as I was walking in the street, I felt someone running behind me, so I turned to him to see and find out, but I didn't find anyone at all. For the second time, as soon as I turned forward, I noticed and confirmed that there were steps approaching me. I turned to them, but I did not find anyone. I rushed in my steps and the steps behind me still followed me. This time I didn't look at them, but I looked at some cars that were standing on one side of the street, and if I saw in the car window and the lights were dim, someone was trying to suffocate me. I was stunned by the horror of what I saw, and as soon as I turned to him and ready to face him, I find it too. What should I do then? I didn't feel like I was until someone pounced on me with a big hammer in his hand. He hit me with it above my head, and if blood flowed on my face, when he attacked me with this blow, I found myself in the hospital's son on that street. This hospital had a back door that was filled with old trees to the point of they covered it completely. I entered the hospital and found in front of me the security guard, who I blamed him a lot as he was watching me and seeing me when this incident happened to me. I talked to him a lot, but he ignored me. He only did one thing for me, which is as soon as I entered the hospital a wide smile on his face, but he did not say a word to me at all. Despite my long conversations with him, I frankly got so excited at him that I caused him with some words. I completed my way and did the necessary for the wound on my head. As a result of the blow, I sustained a crack in the skull, in addition to the suturing of the wound, and it stopped the nerves and muscles temporarily. After I finished, I was discharged from the hospital. 3 days later, my brother came to me and wanted to go with me to hold accountable those who did this to me. I took him to the same street, and at the back door of the hospital I found what surprised me. The door was covered with rust and trees were closed on it. I told him, saying, I was beaten here, and I entered the hospital from this door. My brother was astonished. Are you sure you entered the hospital through this door? I told him with confidence and certainty, yes, I entered it from here. I swear to God Almighty that I entered it from this door. We entered the hospital through the main door. We went up to the director, and I worked with him and my brother. At first, the director asked me, what is wrong with you, son, and what do you want? I told him that I came a few days ago because of an accident and that everything was done with me, but when I entered the hospital, I entered through the back door. At first, the director of the hospital brought out papers that proved my arrival at the same time I actually mentioned, and then he insisted on going with me and checking the door from which I entered personally. The first time I showed him the door from which I entered, he told me, you know that this door has been closed for 25 years, it is the door of the mortuary, and from it we used to take out the dead, and after receiving many complaints from the residents next to him because of the cries of the people of the dead, we closed it, and the bodies we took out from the main door.